Yeah.
All right, welcome to the Free Yourself podcast. Very excited about today's episode. I have one of my favorite uncles. Listen, all of my uncles are one of my favorites because you guys are all great, man. I love each and every one of you. Um, and yeah, so it's always hard to pick a favorite. So you are all my favorite uncles. But this is my uncle from my mom's side, Jerry Jurado. Um, all right, let's get into it. So this is a podcast. Let me explain to you. I think I explained to you a little bit before, but a podcast where um, I want listeners to listen to the podcast and find some inspiration in what they've heard for themselves to be like, man, I have so many things that I've always wanted to do. I'm interested in this and that. And for them to say, yeah, I'm gonna go do or find what I love to do and just do it, because doing that for myself, finding doing the things that I love to do, it is such a freeing um feeling that I wish I would like for others to feel that way. I feel like if we're all living in that feeling, this world will be a better place. But so that's part of what we do on this podcast. Others, and part of it is sharing inspirational stories, which I think you're about to share one with us now, through experiences that have made you who you are today. Um, with that said, bear with me. There's a light I have here. I was just telling Theo Jerry that trying to keep this light stuck on my laptop is probably going to be challenging today.
You may have to lick the suction cups. Yeah.
There's like 10 chupones on that thing. I'm licking all of them. Anyways, all right, Jerry, I mean, tell me who you are. Tell me what you're famous for. What are you famous for? And not necessarily that you're famous, but what is it that you do that makes you you?
Yeah. So thank you, Cheito. As you mentioned, I'm Jerry Jurado. My real name is Gerardo Jurado. And in North America, they can't pronounce that. So I had to use my nickname as an alias, Jerry Jurado, which has a nice ring and tone. But I was going through the questions that you had sent, and a lot went through my mind to the point where I just read them, went through them, and put them down because I can't. I'm a spontaneous person. I can't, I can't plan it. And I work like that in my business. The times that I prepare for a meeting that I have to lead, it's when I strike out. When I just go out there and just do it, and that's when it comes out the best. And what am I known for? That's a question that you can answer part of it. Um, but what I stand for is the person that influences other in a positive way. That what I share with others can have an impact of benefit to their being and or in their future. I want to think that I'm known for being a great dad, and there's no such thing. I don't believe that anybody could be a great dad, but you can be the best dad that you can and influence your sons and daughters to be the best people they can be. And to me, that's a win, right? Um, and in my family setting with my siblings and my nieces and nephews, a lot of my nieces and nephews over the years have called me, Uncle Jerry, my favorite uncle, and for all the reasons that they call me that. I cherish and I'm honored when I hear that. As the son of my mother and father, I have to tell you that my purpose as a son to my mother and father was just to be the best son that I could, making them proud and loving them. And I truly believe that I've accomplished that. In my professional life, I have influenced a lot of people in many different ways, whether as a leader, whether as a colleague, as a mentor, as a coach. And, when I reflect back, that has been, a powerhouse of who I am and how I'm known in my industry. I believe that we have a cousin, Johnny, John. So we used to call him when he was a kid. And on one trip, I see matured. I grew up in Hartford. My career started in Hartford, and I went from being a cashier all the way through being a store manager. And once upon a time, during a sad event, our uncle's passing, when I came across him, he stood back and he goes, "Jerry Gerardo, you're a legend. Everybody knows you. Everybody speaks about the influences you have had." And I was like taken aback by it. He's now in the supermarket industry, and he's worked with a lot of people that, evidently I coach, mentor, or trained and work with me or for me. And he heard a lot of stories, which were all true, right? My son Peter, having worked the Frito-Lay route, he's visiting stores where he's coming across people. When they see his last name, it's like, "Gerardo, I know that name." "Hey, you must know my dad, Jerry Gerardo." "I know your dad." So, when you hear that, I don't think my purpose was to be great at that, but the interest I took in people made me that, and so I say, look at my, I've had my failures. I've had many failures. I've made some poor decisions. I should have made some decisions that would have put me in a better place, but I decided no, because that was going to be a negative impact on my family, and I could never do that. So, I hold the position of general manager. I've held higher positions, as high as director of operations, corporate operations. But this is where I like to be, because I love to be around people. This is a people business. Retail is a people business. And if you don't like people, get out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in my current job, working for Staples, I'm in my 15th store in almost 19 years.
Wow.
That's unheard of. We have general managers that have been with the company 25 years in the same store. And so, when I look at that, I need energy, and I can't be complacent. 2 years, 3 years in one location, I get close to people and you become complacent. So you're no longer effective. However, with Staples, I came on board, they recruited me, and I came on board to a store in Brattleboro, Vermont. And my second day on the job, my regional vice president shows up at the door. I just happened to know him from the supermarket industry. And he says, "Jerry, I wanted to see you again, but I got to tell you, you got 6 months or we're going to close this store." I just left a great job. I took on this job, and I was just so that I just got a 6-month warning, right?
No pressure, no pressure.
No pressure. Well, 19 years, the store is still open today.
Wow.
So as the company saw what I could do, I was then asked to take on another project in Rutland, Vermont, and do the same thing. And then went to South Burlington, Vermont, and the story goes on, right? Fixed stores. But along the way, I mentored and coached a lot of people. As I recruited people, I always use this line: listen, I cannot make you rich on an hourly wage, but I can offer you an opportunity that this basic job can turn into a career. And I backtracked recently, and in 19 years, I have promoted 42 individuals to either from an hourly associate to a supervisor, from a supervisor to an assistant manager, from an assistant manager to a general manager. The number is 12 are general managers today working effectively. 18 are assistant managers. And, you know, when they see me, it's almost like seeing a family member. And that I think that defines me the best. There were some young, I was involved in a leadership forum where we were coming up with ideas on how to mentor, you know, young managers coming into the company, the industry. And so 10 of us sat around, and then we had 10 junior, just promoted general managers that came into the room. And, you know, as we introduced ourselves, this young man, he's actually Puerto Rican. And he looks at me, he goes, "You're Jerry Gerardo?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Man, you're a legend in this company." And kind of took me aback a little bit, and everybody's paying attention, right? And I asked him, why do you call me a legend? And he started telling me all the reasons, and I kind of started grinning, because you don't realize the influence you have in people when you take the time to show them a better way, to show them, that there is a way, there is a future in this. If you just pay attention and commit yourself to it and be a professional, right? So that's my business side. You know, I think that I'm where I want to be. I'm going to retire in a few years, and I've met everything that I needed to meet in my career. Yes, I have some regrets, but that's that. As a family man, I wanted the respect that I think I've earned, but also I want everybody to be comfortable and to have fun around me. I'm a fun person. I like to make people laugh. I like to entertain people. I do that with my family. You know, Kim, my fiance, she's shared times with us, and when she talks about it with her family members and things like that, she calls it unique. It's something so incredible. It's so great, and that's how I want to be known from my family. You know, if I can sing a song and make people smile and laugh and sing along, I think that's something that puts me in a really good place.
Yeah.
For my sons, I want my sons and my daughters to be the best that they can be, to not cut themselves short, to make the decisions that impact their family, so make the right decisions in that sense, but to be good, honest human beings in this world, because we lack that. And I think that I instill in both example and in discipline how to be that. And I can go talking forever if you let me. So I don't know if that answers your question, Tato, but it's a lot to talk about, because I see myself not just in one person with many different hats.
Yep.
And that's what that is.
Yeah. So I mean, I have to agree. Do you hear an echo?
I don't.
All right. But so let me tell you, and if you were to ask any of us cousins, we also consider you a legend, and we don't know half the stuff of what you go through at work and in your career. But like, we've grown up. You've always been a great role model, I think. And so let me throw on another piece of who you are. You're not only a great dad, a great mentor, a great at what you do at work, but you've also been a great uncle, right? Great son, and throw that in there too, a great uncle, because it's for me, it's a lot about you just get a feeling of the person that's in front of you. I'm a big energy person, right? You can feel the energy off of somebody, and I've been sensitive to that. So, um, but just being around you, that you exude, and the energy comes off of you as a confident person, as a person that knows things, right? Experience. For me, experience is the best teacher.
Mhm.
You can go to school all day, all night, and you don't know shit unless you've experienced it. And I've always known you to have many experiences because you shared, like, you were in the military early on, and thank you for that, for your services. But you've always shared experiences with us that were like, oh, like, man, dude, you that was you've seen that, you've done that. But it goes with how you carry yourself, that you feel that way, and you feel that around you, where that has been a big part of our upbringing. Because I mean, like you said, our family's always together, and I agree, everyone says that, like, yo, your family is different, it's unique. And I agree, man. The and there's a lot of families out there that I'm like, man, you guys have a great family, right? But like, for me, it's like, yo, our family is great, man. It is, and unique, and it's so big, and everybody has a different story, that even though people have chosen their paths, right? um that no matter what their paths have taken them through, what they've been through, um when we're together, it's like a pot of just experiences, and still love each other no matter what, man.
Yeah.
There's some families that grudge over the smallest things, and I'm looking at them like weird, because like, how could you not talk to so and so for years because of what? Anyways, it's just, I'm grateful to have been in this family, because it shows me, my family has showed me how to love unconditionally.
Amen.
And that's the highest power of love, is to love unconditionally. And I mean, I'm not going to go there yet, with spirituality and stuff, but that's God. It's that unconditional love. When we love each other without conditions, God is looking at us like, yes, you're getting me, you're understanding me, right? But but yeah, so let me throw that in there. I've always considered you a legend, even when we were young, when I was younger, a long time ago. Um, but you're
Did
also
you
a great uncle. You're a
did
great
you
uncle.
did I happen to have the Uncle Jerry talk with you when you were a teenager?
Probably. It was a long time ago, so
I
wasn't that time.
the one that resounds the most was Eggy. I had that with Eggy Harry.
Yeah,
Even my little brother Sammy
yeah.
went through that, and I took a lot of pride in doing that for all the right reasons. But I never judged,
Hmm.
and I always listened. And my feedback was always, you know, tough love is hard to handle. However, you will experience that in your future with your own kids when you have to exhibit tough love. And until then, you're not gonna understand why you're going through what you're going through with your parents. And
Hmm.
I always left it at that. And I've even had my sons. I know what you meant, Dad. I know what you meant because I'm going through it right now, and it's not easy. It's tough. I want to say the right things. You can never, you can't. And one thing that I teach is don't meditate on it. Because if you're thinking, if my son asks me this is how I'm gonna respond, and that's wrong. You need to let it come, and the only way it's gonna come out right is to pay attention and listen. And then you have to do it with love and passion when you start speaking back, right?
That is huge. And that's something that I'm learning, and it is, and a lot of things that I talk about, and things that I believe in, is they're not easy to do. I feel like when you sit and you think about it, it's like, yes, that's what you want to do. Like you would say, like, you want to be a great dad. You want to be that if somebody comes to you, that you can help them as much as you can, right? And you're thinking that but I feel like what you're saying, it works better when you set that intention, right?
Hmm.
Okay, I want to help you as best way as I can, but you can't meditate any of that. You have to first listen, or be able to hold that space for them, to be comfortable enough for them to kind of find it
Yeah, absolutely. They
with
need
you.
to trust in saying truly what they want to say. And when you do, when you premeditate it, when you kind of stage it, it's not going to come out like that.
No.
The kindness and love that you should show your loved one won't reflect in that sense. So,
Yeah.
that's a big deal. But you mentioned the military. I think the military did mature me. Yeah, I got to tell you, when I was very shy when I was young. You don't know me this way, but I was so shy that if somebody was looking at me, that would freak me out. Why are they looking at me? What, my hair? I mean, what did I say? Like, what's
Insecure.
and you get nervous like that. And I was the last one to raise my hand. I was the last one to speak. I was afraid to ask the question because it may have been a stupid question.
Yeah.
But then I met the United States Marine Corps, and let me tell you something. You're right. My posture, the way I walk, the way I hold myself, the confidence that I have, all came out of that. Not that I wasn't confident before that. I didn't exhibit it that way. I was very, very timid in that sense. And the Marine Corps, brought something out of me that I didn't even know I was capable. And it came to when I felt like giving up, because boot camp in the Marine Corps was not easy.
Yeah.
But I had Jerry at the time. And all I picture was Jerry. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for Jerry.
Wow.
And then when I said, I used to think I'm not as good as others. And when I saw myself around 70 other recruits in boot camp going through the same thing I was going through, different nationalities, different upbringings, different backgrounds from different parts of the country, I said, there's nobody else in here that's any better than me.
Yeah.
I control how good I'm going to be at this. And I started changing my mentality about that. And let me tell you, it was a transformation for me, from being a timid, shy, kind of laid back individual to this go-getter.
Yeah.
I became a go-getter. My opinion mattered. It
Mhm.
counted, and I wanted to share. You can agree with it or not, but it mattered. And so I became a speaker. Some of the things that I've done outside of my career, because of my career, um, I was a guest speaker for the business program at Castleton um, State University in Vermont.
Mhm.
And essentially, what it was, they would send me some of their students that were interested in going into retail with that background. And I would spend a week with them, showing them what the things that I did. And they loved it. They thought, if I ever worked for a manager like you, I would never leave you, type of thing, right? So you're good. No, 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 I'm not conceited. You're good, but now you're really exhibiting it, right? Because you're showing, you're teaching.
Mhm.
And then at the end of the year, I would stand in front of the entire program, and I would get pounded with questions, how to handle different situations and things like that. And I got to tell you, if I was 18 years old before I went to boot camp, I would not have been able to do that with my personality at that time. But because of my maturing and transformation from being timid and shy to being confident and aggressive, I'm a very aggressive, business person. That helped me, accomplish that. I didn't make money to do that. I just did it because I really loved it,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed sharing me with others.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of that has to do with that. But that my time in the Marine Corps, I went through a lot. I did things that you don't even know I did.
Yeah.
I finally found someone that would listen to me in Kim,
Yeah.
that I can share some of the things that I did, because I had never opened it up like that, just let it out. Because my sons were not equipped to listen to some of that, and my prior spouses had no interest in it. So it's something that I kept within. But Kim has allowed me to really share a lot of that with it, and she really understands and enjoys hearing about it, because I have had in my career, in my time in the Marine Corps, a positive influence in who we are as Americans, right? And our country and our freedom. So I
Yes.
take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, definitely you should. Let me ask you, is there, first of all, I have two questions from that. Is there like a moment that you can recall that was like a that at that moment is like, I'm not going back to that timid kid? Or was that just like a gradual, you know?
Yeah, it became a gradual. It was in boot camp, and we're all standing around, and we're getting ready to go to IT, right? Individual ICT, individual combat training, where we're going to go in the field for 2 weeks and play war games. It's a boot camp, right? And we're all sitting there, we're getting the stories, you can't fail at this because this, that, and the other from the drill instructors. And we're all looking at each other, kind of anticipating when we get to that point, we can't fail, which was wrong, because it was a mental state that they put you through. But that's part of overcoming, the enemy, right? So I stood there and I saw myself struggle through with another 70 troops, and we all made it. We all made it. We helped each other, and that was my determination that I can't be the passive person that I was.
Mm,
And there is no one in this world that can tell me that I can't do something and I'm not good enough, because I just proved it all,
absolutely.
going through this. That was my transformation. I've had many transformations in my life, but that was one that really put me, the person, ahead of what I was. And of course, the understanding that I didn't want to go back to that,
Yeah.
because I didn't like me then. To have that fear of others being better, to have that fear of somebody looking at me, and why. I just overcome that. When somebody's looking at me, after I left boot camp, all eyes were on us, walking through the airport in our dress blues,
Hmm.
and even people offering to buy us beers. Thank you for your service, and we just got in, and I enjoy that, as opposed to before I went to boot camp, that would scare me.
Yeah.
And so now, and since then, when somebody's looking at me, I go up to say, can I help you? I see you looking at me. I there's a reason for it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it puts a lot of people in an uncomfortable position when you question that. I do it at work all the time. We get a customer looking at me, sir, you're looking at me. Can I help you? Oh, no, no, no. And okay.
Yeah. But I
I
bet you
do.
that guy's like the rest of the day, like, man, he caught me looking at him, and then like the way he asked, and and it goes with how you carry yourself. That impression, that dude's always gonna, he's taking something from it, even if he didn't ask the question, even if nothing was answered. It was like, man, that was kind of like, oh, it's gonna stick with him, is what I'm saying. Eh,
Absolutely. But you develop that ability with time, with experience. Somebody's looking at me for something.
right.
But when I was 18, I would run the other way.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was shy. I was very shy.
So
But
yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that experience, like you actually stepped out of your shell at that in that experience that helped you step out of that shell. Like,
Yeah, Marine Corps cracked the shell, and I came out. I was born.